Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys have all been doing well. I have just come back from a trip to Israel and I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but I think this is the perfect time to just sit down and make another devotional video for you guys today where we can discuss. So today's topic is going to be about forgiveness, and I think this has been a fairly difficult thing for me to grasp lately, and I think reading the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis has really helped me open my eyes to what forgiveness looks like in God's eyes. I highly recommend you guys to read the full story of Joseph in the book of Genesis, but just as a quick backstory, essentially Joseph was envied by his brothers. His brothers tried to kill him, but then they eventually just sold him to Egypt as a slave. Joseph eventually becomes one of the most powerful men in Egypt. His brothers try to go to Egypt to get some supplies during the famine, and they don't recognize who Joseph has become, but he still recognizes them. And so now I'm reading from Genesis 45, starting from verse 3. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still living?" But his brothers were not able to answer him because they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Come close to me." When they had done so, he said, "I am your brother Joseph, the one you sold into Egypt. And now do not be distressed and do not be angry with yourselves for selling me here, because it was to save lives that God sent me ahead of you. For 2 years now there has been famine in the land, and for the next 5 years there will not be plowing and reaping. But God sent me ahead of you to preserve for you a remnant on earth and to save your lives by a great deliverance." And after he reveals all this, he tells them to come back and so that they can enjoy all the best of Egypt with their whole families. Joseph's act of forgiveness and the fact that he wants them to come close to him, that he wants to provide the best for them, even though he was almost killed by them and that he was sent to Egypt as a slave by them, I think that was insane to me, how powerful forgiveness really is and how much Joseph was touched by the Lord and the way that he was able to forgive his brothers to this extent. Later on, Joseph's father eventually dies, and this is Genesis 50, starting from verse 15. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us and pays us back for all the wrongs we did to him?" So they sent word to Joseph, saying, "Your father left these instructions before he died. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I ask you to forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father." When their message came to him, Joseph wept. His brothers then came and threw themselves down before him. "We are your slaves," they said. But Joseph said to them, "Don't be afraid. Am I in the place of God? You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. So then, don't be afraid. I will provide for you and your children." And he reassured them and spoke kindly to them. Guys, I don't know if we're hearing this the same way, but wow. I think both passages of how Joseph reacted and expressed his forgiveness showed me two things. The first is that God is in control of everything. Even though his brothers had intended to harm him, God knew what he was doing. God put him on this path to Egypt so that Joseph could become powerful and that he could save many lives. It is not our place to take vengeance on somebody. God can use any situation to bring about good. And although it may look impossible for us humans to see the good in what he's doing, God is God. We are humans, and there's a difference. And I think that's just beautiful because we can let go of control. We know that God is in control and that God is capable of things that we can't see or even imagine. And my second thought is, why is it now important for us to forgive? And the reason for that is because of Jesus Christ. He literally died on the cross for our sins in the past, in the present, and in the future. It's so easy for me to just, receive all the grace and forgiveness and mercy from God and from others. But then at the same time, if someone wants forgiveness from me, I feel difficult doing that. And I think it's hypocritical for me to do that, to feel that way, and to resist forgiving others when I know I've been forgiven on the daily. And I think that's what's key. Like, Jesus called us to forgive others just as he has forgiven us. So all in all, I think this story of how Joseph has so graciously forgiven his brothers and instantaneously, without even expecting anything back from them, has shown me the power of God's forgiveness, of Jesus' sacrifice, and how we should live every day more like Jesus and more loving and more forgiving to our brothers and sisters. So yeah, that's it for this video, and I hope this has stimulated some thoughts in your mind, and feel free to comment and exchange some discussion. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!